Good. We were working with a company called Kenvue, so we're preparing to pitch some ideas to them. Basically, Kenvue is a spin-off of Johnson & Johnson. So they own like hundreds of brands that are in your kind of bathroom, things like that. Like for example, Listerine. And so they came to us with a problem pitch about the bathroom of the future, what that would look like. And we kind of went along with the idea that if people are spending lots and lots of money on a bathroom, that they'd like it to look nice, including the products in the bathroom.
Okay, so our original problem statement was imagine your bathroom of the future, and how new customers' health product and and how new customers and their health products could drive a more sustainable way of living. This includes more eco-friendly stuff and using less plastic and things. So yeah, so here's the standard bathroom. As you can see, I mean, I don't know what you guys' bathrooms look like, but assuming it's probably similar. And at least in my own bathroom, there's always these plastic containers that look like these. They're always just around my bathroom, and it just takes up a lot of space. And so yeah, and so to first go back to the original statement, to tackle this problem, we first did some interviews, and we used the design thinking process, which is from ETH. And we empathize with the customers and the clients, and those will be normal people. And so we interviewed normal people in for our bathrooms, and yeah. And from that we were able to see that sustainability won't be a big product, or not many people are going to be looking for that in the future. But in this company, Kenvue, they kind of have to do that problem. So new problem statement is Joe is director of the sustainability at a major manufacturer of consumer products. His company is facing pressure from shareholders and government regulators to make the products more sustainable and reduce packaging waste. But his team is finding that sustainability is not presenting as a priority with their customers, and that's kind of what we found with doing the interviews and stuff.
Yeah, so just going back quickly to the ETH thinking process, just like Nadia said, we wanted to focus really on the audience to kind of see what they wanted, because in the past a lot of product ideation has been very solution focused, but instead we want to now focus on the problem so that the solution can be more specific to the audience. And yeah, what we found from those interviews using this process is exactly that people actually don't care quite as much about whether or not their products are sustainable, but rather that they're high quality.
So what we kind of thought of for that solution is that it has to be a product that both meets the consumer's needs and the producer's needs, of course. So the producer wants to be sustainable, and the consumer wants it just to be as cheap and easy to use as possible. So what we kind of thought of was this type of product, next slide, where you can refill it every time, which is kind of like a syrup type. So you have a concentrate, you would pop it in, you would fill it in, you would mix it with water, and then you create just your shampoo or whatever you need, like for example your moisturizer or any other product in your bathroom. So you end up buying, instead of buying these big tubes every single time you need a new container, you buy these small concentrates. You buy one bottle that's reusable and high quality. You would, and every time it's empty, you just refill it with water, you refill it with your pod, and you only have this small box of waste that you can recycle. So that's kind of our idea, how they would stay sustainable, and how they would, how they'd also make consumers want to have it.
Do you want to see the pod?
This right here is a Gatorade GX bottle. All you gotta do is pop that top and get a pod filled with fruit punch and stick that thing right on in there. Now you got yourself a nice...
That's kind of the idea.
Yeah, so there were multiple different ideas we had for refills as well. Powder was also an option. Obviously there's different types of consistencies that you have in the bathroom. So you have your creams, you have your liquids, you have your pastes, and there's different types of refills for all of that.
What do you want to talk about?
Like so for the creams and lotions, we were thinking you'd have glass containers, which could then obviously be recycled if you didn't want them later on anymore. And they would have little refillable capsules that you just pop inside, made out of aluminum, so that they can be recycled afterwards.
Yeah, and this is an example of like this is your reusable like container, and then this is just what you buy, and you end up when it's empty and when you've used all the cream, you just end up throwing it away or you recycle it, and then you just buy your second pod or you buy them in a pack of 10, and you just pop it back in and you still use the same container.
Which would also be cheaper for the consumer rather than buying a new glass bottle every single time.
I mean, I think it's quite similar with toothpastes. We see a lot of like powdered toothpastes, and with this one, the main thing we were thinking about was like germs. So if you had like a tub of cream, you kept dipping your toothbrush in it, it would be kind of grim. This would be Jasper.
Yeah, all right. I'll present it as well. So this whole idea of having concentrates has been around for quite a bit now, but the problem they've been having is that they can't sell it. Whenever there's a little bottle on the shelf, they can't sell the little bottle because people see the little bottle costs 5 francs, and the big bottle costs 5 francs. So people are gonna look at the big bottle and be like, yeah, I want the big bottle. I don't want the same bottle but tiny. So the problem is shelf space is really what they've been struggling with. So instead we've been pitching ideas like a type of Nerf gun idea where you have multiple things together. So you buy like a starter pack where you have your big bottle and you have your pods with it, and you have like different types of pods. Like you have your conditioner and your shampoo pod. So you have both of them to really show the product, and that people end up getting that brand loyalty. When they buy the first product, they'll easily decide to buy the product again after, instead of having only the pods on the shelf and the bottles separately. You have to sell them together so people actually know and consider the products together. Yeah, and this would be like this would just be a refill pack.
As well, we thought about how is it going to look on the shelves. So as you can see, there's 2 sets. One is more minimalistic, can be white, gray, black, or beige, for example. Just a small text that it's shampoo or for conditioner or another product. And the other one is more colorful, can be green, purple, or red, or blue, or any other color, and was a bit inspired of some herbal shampoos. As you can see, the leaves, something quite calm but still more colorful and bright. And as well, not only the bottles for shampoo and conditioners, but as well cream pods or for toothpaste. So they're like a set of few containers.
Well, we have some like targets that so like different profiles that we want to find, and we just applied this product to each of them and want to show how they apply, kind of.
Yeah, so the science innovation group actually came up with these personas and then presented them to Kenvue. And Kenvue basically said, these are the ones that we like the most, these are the ones we want you to focus on, and so all of the products we've designed are applicable to the different markets. Like I said before, we want it to be very like audience focused so that we do create a product that they can really use.
And in our actual pitch, we would talk through each one and explain how it would apply to each one.
Yeah, so if you could go back one slide. For example, one of our customers that me and Shruti designed for was Jane, and this was a 35-year-old single mom who's got kids, and she needs less products to purchase so it doesn't clutter up the bathroom, and also it needs to appeal to her kids so she can just get the kids in and out of the bath and get everything done, and she values simplicity in her life. And so this is kind of like the design that we came up with, where the caps would be these things that you could change out, and they would be, of course, like appealing for kids, but the bottle itself would be simple and that you could use on later on in life, like when you're older, and you could just change out the cap for something more simple. And it would also have these it would be more customizable, where there's like bits that you can take off this little colored band, and it would represent shampoo is purple, conditioner is blue. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that pretty much wraps up our presentation. There's more personas, but we're not going to go into too much detail on those right now.
Okay.
Are there any questions?
Yeah, I heard like two different messages. One time it came across strongly that what the customer valued most was quality, and then I heard cost. As cheap as possible.
There's always cost involved in every decision the client makes, of course, but it was also quality. Yeah, it was a mix of the two.
So
Because most of Kenvue's brands, they are not premium quality brands, really. Like, it's not the most expensive. Like Listerine, for example, it isn't the most expensive brand. It's meant to be cheap, but we still want to offer high quality products. So, because the middle class tends to prefer high quality products, but they still want to have it at a cheaper price.
Yeah, the reason cost is such a big discussion is because when you buy the bottle at first, you have to invest a little bit more because it's going to be made out of like airbrushed metal, for example, or glass. But then the refills cost less, so you kind of earn back money over time. So that's why we have to just like consider how we're going to market it to people who want high quality products but don't want to spend quite as much. So then you have to kind of explain the logic behind, like, it's at first an investment, but then you eventually kind of make back that money.
I just want to make sure I understand. So thanks for that. It was a very slick presentation. So your product is the refillable bottles or tubs, right?
Yeah.
And then how do you, or has there any discussion about how do you get the companies like Johnson & Johnson and the ones that you've been in contact with? What's their name?
Kenvue.
How do you make them now change their products packaging? Because that needs to change. You know, what people buy on the shelf, let's say the shampoo doesn't come in a plastic bottle anymore, but in a small capsule and stuff, no? That you then fill into your product. Is that right?
Yeah, so the bottles themselves would be branded as Kenvue because that's what all the like products fall under technically. It's just like Listerine belongs to Kenvue, Tylenol belongs to Kenvue. People just don't know the name of Kenvue yet, and so that's also part of this like project is to kind of get the name out there. So you associate those products with the high quality containers. And the products themselves could still have similar marketing, like Listerine. You would still see the Listerine name and everything on the refills. Like we had an idea that it would be a cardboard piece with only a small refill attached, but then you can still have the whole like Listerine branding on it because people will still recognize it and say, oh, I know this brand, I want to buy this brand. Yeah. It's just the function has changed a little bit, like the way you use it.
Okay, but then that means all your customers, you have to convince them not only to have your refillable product bottles and containers, but you also have to convince them to switch to, look, I'm a Head and Shoulders man, but switch them to the product that comes with these.
There's already quite a big market that Kenvue owns. They have, I think, multi-billion.
There's 1.4 billion consumers who already buy from Kenvue. So the idea is that those would essentially just kind of transition into a different format.
Fantastic. Okay.
But that's why part of that marketing has to happen, where consumers tend to look at the new product and be like, oh wait, that's the same as my old product, and it's not suddenly my old product's no longer on the shelves. I'm gonna go switch brand. So that's also an important transition we thought about.
Thanks very much. Cool.
And you're pitching to the directors at Kenvue next week.
Yeah.
Is that right? How are you feeling about that?
Well, it's it's scary, kind of nerve-wracking, but I think we've been doing quite a lot of work into the presentation, and we've been, especially lately, it's been coming along very well. So I think our idea is very strong, so we should be confident, and we definitely can. I hope our product makes it as well. So.
Yeah, it's been a lot of like designing, and now it's just working on articulating that well. But I think we're all looking forward to it. So.
Good.
I think just to reinforce this opportunity here. So as Maria was saying, Kenvue is a spin-off of J&J. It's their consumer products division. What they told us is that they're under enormous pressure from their investors and the EU to eliminate plastics, essentially. they've been experimenting with this for the last couple of years, and the experiments have been terrible because they've just gone with concentrates in smaller bottles, and people aren't buying it, was really set off the shelf. So this is, it's a really fantastic problem, and if Kenvue likes what these guys are proposing, and I think it is very different than what Kenvue's been trying, honestly, to this point. They've just been going smaller and more concentrated with plastic. These guys' proposal here eliminates all the plastic. So if you think about it, if Kenvue bites on this, there's a potential to eliminate plastic consumption by 1.2 billion people in the hair care and other consumer products division. It could have a massive impact. You know, we'll have to see what they say, but the opportunity is enormous. So it's a neat problem to bang our heads on. We'll see what feedback we get.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.